Hello everybody, welcome to GIS E-Pathshala Social Science History Chapter 3 and the chapter is about Delhi Sultan. See how we have seen about the Delhi Sultans, the how they made the different things and the how they came on different places of in the Delhi. Some of them are, see, we have seen that first the Tomras were there, then Chauhans were there. After defeating Chauhan, who came? The Turkish rulers, means like slave dynasty, you can say Mamluk dynasty or Gulam dynasty also. After that, Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, and Lodi dynasty was there. Like that, the Delhi Sultans came. After that, they made they want to expand their area. Previously, they were having the garrison town and hinterland. Then they expanded their area. But mostly, Alauddin Khilji and Tughlaq have expanded the Delhi Sultanate. So now we are going to see something about that. A closer look: administration and consolidation under the Khiljis and Tughlaqs. Bandagans. The Bandagans were special slaves purchased for military services by the early sultans, especially Iltutmish. They were carefully trained to main important political offices in the kingdom. They were totally dependent on the master and the sultan could trust them implicitly. See now what happens. Bandagan were the special slaves. They were the slaves for the military services. They were carefully trained for the political offices in the kingdom, and they were totally dependent on the masters and sultan. Who brought this? The Iltutmish. Who brought this? Iltutmish brought this. And Bandagan means this is a one type of word in the other language. Bandagan is a Persian. In Persian, the slaves purchased for military service is called Bandagan in Persian. This word is Persian word. What is the meaning? The slaves purchased for military service. Basically, the slaves purchased for military services are known as Bandagans. Bandagans is a Persian word. Now, clients. See now what happened. Khiljis and Tughlaqs raised people of humble birth who were after their clients to high political positions. Who were after their clients for high political positions. The Khiljis and Tughlaqs continues to use Bandagans and also raise people of humble birth to humble birth who were often their clients. They were appointed as generals and governors. See, they were appointed as generals and governments. However, this also introduced an element of political instability. Because of there, some political instability was there. Why the political instabilities? What is the causes of political instabilities? See, slaves were there, now humble men came. So, because of these two, there were political instabilities. What is there? Slaves and clients were loyal to their master and patrons but not to their heirs. Slaves and clients were loyal to their masters and patrons but not to their heirs. New sultans and had their own servants. As a result, the accession of new monarch often show conflict between the old and the new nobility. See, the new one is coming. Slaves and clients are loyal to their masters and patrons, but not to their heirs. So, because of there, if the new sultan is coming, there might be conflict between them. The concept of iktas and iktidars. Like the earlier sultans, the Khilji and Tughlaq monarch appointed military commanders and governor of territories of varying size. See, Ikta is started by the Iltutmish. Iltutmish started these things. These things started by Iltutmish. Khilji and Tughlaq monarch appointed military commanders as governors of the territories of various size. These lands, these lands were called Iktas. These lands were called as Iktas. Ikta, and their holders was called Iktedar or Mukti. Means some of the areas were there, like the other earlier sultans. Khilji and Tughlaq monarch appointed military commanders. They appointed military commanders as governor of the territory. Different areas were there. According to that, they appointed governors. and these lands were called Ikta and their landholder. Then the landholder was known as Iktedar. The duty of the Muktis were to lead military campaign and maintain law and order in their iktas. See, whatever duty of the mukti were to lead to military campaign and maintain law and order in the iktas. वो क्या काम करते थे basically? What they doing? They are doing the military campaigns and maintaining law and order in their iktas. Means whatever size, whatever area is given to that person is doing the military campaigns and maintaining the law and order in the military. In exchange for the military services, the Muktis collect the revenues of their assessments as salary. In exchange for the giving this military services, Muktis collected revenue of their assignment as salary. The Muktis were getting the some salary. Whatever assignments they are doing, from that they are collecting the tax and they were getting the salary type. Now, different types of Sultanate taxes. Different type of Sultanate taxes. The Sultan's administration measured the land and kept careful accounts. Some of the old chieftains and landlords served the Sultan as revenue collector and assessors. See, Sultan measured the land and collect the tax, and some of the chieftains and landlords served as Sultan's revenue collector. There were three types of taxes. On cultivation called kharaj, and amounting to 50% of the peasants' produce. See, in agriculture, the tax was there, it was known as kharaj. That is about 50% of the peasants' produce. Whatever peasants are producing, on that 50% they are taking. Okay. On cattle and on houses, three types of taxes. Those who are having cattle, they have to pay the tax, and house tax was there. Now, administration and consolidation under Tughlaqs. Now, what is there? See, unity in the vast kingdom, the Sultan depended on reliable administration and governors. But rather the chieftains, the Sultan preferred slaves called bandagan. Okay, these things came. The use of the slaves by Delhi Sultan was criticized by the entitled in the kingdom. Elite in the kingdom. The Khilji and Tughlaq appointed local commanders called Iqtedars or Muktis, and the lands were given to them to manage were called Iqtas. The Iqtedars led military campaign and maintained law and order, collect taxes and paid their soldiers, and their position were not inheritable. Position was not inheritable. To keep check on them, they were assigned Iqtas only for period of time, and accountants were appointed to check the revenue they collected. See, these type of things were there. Now, under the Alauddin Khilji, the government started collection and revenue directly. See, now in Alauddin Khilji's time, the government started collecting the revenue directly. So, the rights of the local chieftains to collect taxes were cancelled, and they were forced to pay taxes. See, now what happened? Local chieftains or landlords were collecting the tax. Now all that rights were cancelled, so they have to pay the tax. Three types of taxes. Tax on cultivation called kharaj, about 50%. Peasants produce tax, that is on cattle, and tax on houses. Mughal attacks on Delhi Sultanate increased during the region of Alauddin Khilji and in the early years of Muhammad Tughlaq rule. These forced the Sultan to prepare a large standing army in Delhi, and that was a huge administrative challenge. See what happened? Mongol attacks. Mongol were coming from the Asian side. So what happened? The Mongols were there. Mongols attack increased. Again and again they were attacking on Delhi. So it was necessary for them to be ready with or prepare a standing army in Delhi. See now Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who came to Delhi in 1333, was his contemporary. He was deeply read in religion and philosophy and had a critical and open mind. He gave high officers on the basis of merit, irrespective of whether they belong to noble families or not. See, he was very learned person. He know philosophy and all. So he gave high offices on the basis of merit. On the merit, he gave the high officers, irrespective belonging to noble families. He is not considering that the person is from noble family or not. If the person is capable, he is taking as a officer. Experiment. Now, what Muhammad Tughlaq did? He usually erected wooden pavilion to give a fitting respiration to the Sultan when the receptions to the Sultan when the captured elephants were paraded. The partition collapsed and Sultan died. He transferred the capital from Delhi to Diogir. Most of the people were ordered ordered to shift from Delhi to the new formed capital, which was renamed Daulatabad from Diogir. See, the now new capital Muhammad Tughlaq made is the Daulatabad. It was 1500 kilometers from Delhi. Many people died due to the rigors of the journey and heat. The move, the move was discontinued, but the exodus brought South and North India closer by improving communication. See, all these things Muhammad Tughlaq did, experiments. He introduced a token currency made of bronze which had the same value as silver tank. The government was not able to prevent them forgiving the end. The new coins began to be gently devalued in the markets. He started a separate department called Diwane Amire Ko, extend and improve cultivation in Doab. He wanted to introduce the cultivation of superior crops, wheat instead of barley, sugarcane instead of wheat, and dates and grapes instead of sugarcane. The experiment failed because the people who were involved were inexperienced and dishonest. See, he want to improve the agriculture of new crops he want to grow, but the people were not experienced for all those things type of agriculture work and they were dishonest. Now, cause of failure of measure of Muhammad Tughlaq. Because of being hasty and impatient and due to his failed experiments, he was also known as illustrated idealist. Illustrated idealist. He not only experiment new people belonging to non-nobility but also gave them high post. He also welcomed foreigners in court. He conversed not only with the Muslim but with Hindu Hindu yogis and Jain saints. He was also hot and hasty tempered and gave extreme punishment to whom he suspected of opposition of or disloyalty. Thus, the region of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, while making of the Delhi Sultanate, also saw the beginning of the process of its disintegration. Disintegration. Now, see, such type of things he did because of all these things. What happened? Some of the things were not proper. He was short tempered. He was giving punishment. He did arguments with all the Muslim mice, Hindu yogis, and Jain saints also. He was impatient and hasty. So because of all these things, he want to do some of the good things, but he can't do. The measures fail. Now in 15th and 16th century sultans, the Tughlaq and Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. But then Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan and other entire South India as independent rulers who established flourishing states and prosperous capitals. See, all these places were prosperous places. This was also the period which saw that emergence of new ruling groups like the Afghans and the Rajputs. Some of the states established in this period were small but powerful and extremely well administrated. Sher Shah started his career as a manager of small territory of his uncle in Bahar and eventually challenged and defeated the Mughal Emperor Humayun. Sher Shah captured Delhi and established his own dynasty. Although the Suri dynasty ruled for only 15 years, he introduced an administration that borrowed elements from Alauddin Khilji and made them more efficient. Sher Shah's administration became the model followed by the great Emperor Akbar when he consolidated the Mughal Empire. See now Sher Shah Suri did very good job, but the Suri dynasty ruled for only 15 years and he introduced an administrative system and from some elements of Alauddin Khilji and made them more effective and efficient. And this system, administration system, was also followed by Akbar. See now the three order orders, the peace of God, knights, and these crusades. See, the idea of three order was first formulated in France in the early 11th century. It divided society into three classes: those who prayed, those who fought, and those who tilled the land. See, three classes were there. This division of society into three orders was supported by the church to consolidate its dominant role in society. This helped the emergence of new warrior group called knights. Because of this new warrior group emerged, that is the knights. We are saying the knights. The church patronized the group of and used them propagate their idea of peace of God. The attempt was direct warriors was away from conflict against amongst themselves and sent them instead on a campaign against the Muslim who had captured the city of Jerusalem. See, the attempt was to direct warriors away from conflicts among themselves and send them instead on a campaign against the Muslims who had captured the city of Jerusalem. This led to a serious campaign called Crusades. This campaign in the service of God and the church completely altered the status of knights. Originally, these knights did not belong to the class of nobles, but by the end of the 11th century in the France and a century later in Germany, the humble origins of these warriors were forgotten. By the 12th century, nobles also wanted to be known as knights because these knights are working for the religious work, for the church they are working, companions they are doing for the work, they are doing for the religious things for the god. So now all want to be a knights and afterwards noble also wanted to known as knights. Thank you.